Hi everybody. Do you wonder what to do with all those Thanksgiving leftovers? Well, have I got a recipe for you. It's called a creamy chicken casserole, and it has been a family favorite for years. Now let me walk you through how to make it. Now here's our cast of characters. We need salt. You need a stuffing mix. My favorite stuffing is Pepperidge Farm stuffing. Now this is where the leftovers come in handy. You just need to use your leftover stuffing, whatever stuffing you use. It can be homemade stuffing, it can be stovetop stuffing, it doesn't matter. As long as it's already been made up, you don't want to use it dry. And then you need some chicken broth, a half a cup of flour, 1.5 sticks of butter, 2 cans of evaporated milk, and some onion. Now for the spices, you need salt and pepper. You don't have to use this chicken soup base, but if you have it, I particularly like it better with that. We use poultry seasoning, onion powder, and garlic powder. And then of course you need your leftover turkey diced up, or if you want them, we eat this year round, so you can use just some cooked chicken. You can cook it up purposely for this, or you can use some rotisserie chicken, any leftover chicken that you have, and just cut it up. Now to start with, you need your 9x13 pan. I always use a glass like Pyrex dish, and I spray it with Pam. And then what you do is just put a scant layer of stuffing in the bottom, your already prepared stuffing, so you use your leftover stuffing from Thanksgiving dinner, and layer it on the bottom. There's no set amount. You don't want a super thick layer because it'll make the casserole dry. And then you're going to put a layer of the cut up turkey or chicken, whatever you want to use, and sprinkle that over the top. It takes, I'd say, anywhere from 2 to 4 chicken breast halves, depending on how big they are. But you want to still be able to kind of see the stuffing through it a little bit, just a single layer. So this is a layered casserole. Now you might be thinking, oh boy, another casserole. My family doesn't like casseroles. But I'm telling you, this casserole is a cut above your regular casserole, because I have made this for my family for years. It is a family favorite, but not only that, I make it whenever we go to potlucks at church, if we go to people's homes for dinner, if I have company over, I'll make this casserole. And I tell you, people absolutely go gaga for this casserole. It really tastes like Thanksgiving dinner in one dish. Now to start the rich, thick, creamy sauce that goes over the whole top of this casserole, you're going to begin by melting your 1.5 sticks of butter. I guess you could say it's similar to a gravy, but it really is a lot thicker and silkier and just a lot more decadent than regular gravy is. And it kind of sets up where a gravy is a lot looser. So I'm going to now saute a half a cup of chopped onion in this butter, just until it gets translucent. Let it simmer around a little and saute. Okay, so this is sizzling away, so we're ready to add in our spices. I have all the spices added in this dish, and I'm going to put it in. It's 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, of garlic powder, and of poultry seasoning. Now I'm going to remove this from the heat and stir in, or whisk in, a half a cup of flour. Now, I do make a gluten-free dairy version of this dish, and it is absolutely fabulous as well. So if you're interested in that recipe, just leave a comment below and I'll be glad to post that as well for you. Okay, now that it's mixed in, I'm going to simmer it and get that uncooked flour flavor out of it. Kind of get that flour cooked up a little. Now you add in 1 cup of chicken broth, or you can use the chicken liquid that you poached your chicken in some water. You can use that liquid as well. And this you're going to let thicken. See how thick this gets? Okay, now I'm going to whisk in 2 cans of evaporated milk. I'll whisk in the one and get that incorporated. Just kind of gently whisk because it'll otherwise go all over the place. And you really do need to whisk, otherwise it gets kind of lumpy. Now you can use light evaporated milk, but it really is best with the full fat evaporated milk, but it still is good with the light, depending on how your family likes to eat. If you're having it for company, it's all the richer and more decadent if you use the full fat. Now I'm going to let this cook for a few minutes, whisking, and let it really set up and thicken. Now while this is simmering, I'm going to add about maybe a teaspoon and a half of this chicken soup base. I don't use it in very many things, but I do use it in this chicken casserole. I didn't used to, but I do now. So it is fine without it too. Okay, now this is the consistency that you really want. Look at how thick and rich that is. It's like super thick and delicious. It's like incredible decadence. Now I'm going to pour this over the casserole. Now when you taste this, it might taste a little bit salty, but this is part of what seasons the entire casserole. The turkey doesn't have any salt on it. There is sodium in the stuffing, but that's just a thin layer on the bottom. So you can just tone it down to 1 teaspoon of salt, but we do like the 1.5 teaspoons. So I'm just going to pour this over the top. Look how thick and rich that is. Make sure I get every last little bit. And then don't let it set up yet. Push it out to all the corners because it does kind of set up a little with all that flour in there. And next we're going to put I put a crumb top on it with buttered Ritz crackers, and I'll show you how I make that. Now I just put 1 sleeve of Ritz crackers in a Ziploc baggie, and I use my marble rolling pin. I've had this rolling pin forever, probably 25 years, maybe 30 years. You want it really nice and finely crushed. Now I melted a half a stick of butter. Okay, this is a half a stick of butter to 1 sleeve of the Ritz crackers. So you want it all melted. Okay. And just dump this in there. And stir it all around so it soaks up all that yummy butter. Now another thing about this casserole is I usually will make up at least 2, if not more, of these at one time because these things freeze like none other. I mean, when you take it out, I literally will put it in the oven from the freezer. And it takes a little longer to cook it, but it cooks up like I just made it. So if you have a lot of turkey and stuffing left over, you can make up as many of these as you want. The only thing you'd have to do is make up the gravy or the sauce on top. Okay, so this is all incorporated. And it has sopped up all that wonderful, delicious butter flavor. Now you can see how this is kind of set up already. That's why you want to make sure you spread it out right away as soon as you pour it in the pan. Now I'm just going to spread this all over the top. As if Ritz crackers aren't buttery enough. You got to add more butter to it. Now I also like to make this in little individual bowls, glass bowls or casseroles, and put them in the freezer, and then whenever anybody wants one, like for a lunch, or I'll make up my gluten-free, dairy-free version, and when Lulu comes over, she'll have that, and Or if I serve this to the family, then I'll have some of that ready for me to have. I was even thinking of serving this for maybe even Christmas this year, because it is such a family favorite and it's so easy. You can prepare it ahead of time and just get it out of the freezer and pop it in a 375-degree oven. Okay, you want this to be a generous toasty top, and it provides a nice little crunch on the top. When you bake it, it just toasts up and gets crunchy. So look at the layers of this. You have the stuffing on the bottom, then the turkey, then that scrumptious sauce, and the crackers. Now, a lot of times when I serve this, especially for company, I'll serve it with cranberry sauce. You can make a green bean casserole, make jello. It's good with all the fixings that you would have for Thanksgiving dinner. And I tell you, it looks simple. It looks like it's not that big of a deal, but it really is delicious. If you make this, your family will love it. So here's the finished product. I wish you could smell this. It smells like Thanksgiving. And look at how easy it is to repurpose your Thanksgiving leftovers into something different, something wonderful that everybody will love. So if you would like the written recipe for this, it's in the description box below this video. And also leave a comment in the comment section for me if you would like the gluten-free, dairy-free version. And also, if you make this, let me know how your family likes it. I hope they like it as much as my family does. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, from Cece and Lulu. And God bless you and your family over the holiday season.